Hey everyone. Today I wanted to talk a little bit about GitLab issue boards. I'm going to do just a really quick demo. So I'm going to share my screen now, right here, and I'm going to go to what I have an example project here. So the example project is called Acme Lawn Care iOS, and pretend it's a iPhone app, and it's the app for a service to do your lawn care, maybe to mow your grass. So we're designing this app, and I wanted to show you GitLab issue boards of how you could use issue boards to develop this app. So first I'm going to go to our issues page for this project, and you see I've already populated the project with a number of issues, just example issues for this demonstration here. So, an app you might need to log in, you need to pay for the service for cutting your grass, maybe you need to schedule a mowing, and so on and so forth. So, just a really simple app to do lawn mowing service. So what I'm going to show you today is two ways to use boards. So I'm going to click on the boards navigation right here on the left. And you will see here right away, I see a default board, and there's a backlog list and a closed list automatically. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to add some lists. So you might imagine this as a Scrum board, an Agile board. I'm going to add a list here, and I'm going to create a new label called to do, and I think I haven't created that yet. So I'm going to create a new label and say done. Oops, do done right here. And just like that, I've added the two additional lists. And anybody now that goes to this board will see these two additional lists, and they can drag these issues over as they're working on them. So say I am say an engineering lead, and I say that, oh, let's start working on this issue, and then I assign it to one of my reports. So I really want them to work on adding multiple credit cards to the user's account as part of their work. So I'm going to drag that to do. And right away, that issue is now on the to-do list. Anybody who looks at this issue, we see that it's on the to-do list. Behind the scenes, what's really happening is I'm adding a label, the to-do label, to this issue. But again, if you use the board as is, you don't really need to know or care about that. I can add other issues to this to-do list. Eventually, it gets done. And if I even close the issue by clicking into the issue, it will appear in this closed tab. So if I go to this issue here, and I close the issue, say I'm done with the issue, I've done all the work, I close the issue here, say at the developer, I go back to the board, you'll see now that it's closed. So that's just a really simple way to do issue boards and use them for not a Kanban, in this case, more of an Agile Scrum, and for a Kanban, maybe you have just one list, so very simple. You'll see additional features here. I can search. Say, for example, I wanted to find all the payments-related issues. I could do that, and it filters right away, so very simple. So that's just a really easy way to do use an Agile Scrum-style issue board. Now, I wanted to show you something a little bit more advanced. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to reset all these issues first of all. And to do that, I'm also going to show you the sidebar feature, which is really awesome. So I'm going to click on this button here, or this issue here. And in the sidebar, I can actually update the labels in real time. So I'm going to just remove that done label because it's not relevant. And I want to reset everything to show you this. So that's great. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to start a new board, a brand new board. So this is the development issue board, but I wanted to show you a new one, and I'm going to call it first iteration. So I'm going to call it first iteration, or maybe initial release. And the reason I'm going to call it that is because I'm going to scope this board to a particular milestone. So I already previously created a milestone called initial launch release. And so you can look at our docs to learn more about milestones, but essentially they're another way to group issues together. But anyways, I've created two milestones called initial launch release and follow-up release. And there's no issues associated with those milestones currently. But anyways, I'm going to create a new board. I'm going to call it initial release, and I'm going to call it initial launch release. Or I'm going to scope that board to initial launch release. I'm going to click create. And what that does is that creates a new board called initial release, named initial release. And you'll see there's this filter here called milestone, and it's locked to initial launch release. So there's no way for me to take away that milestone because it's associated with the board. What I could do is I can edit the board milestone and change it, but I'm not going to do that here. So for example, if I refresh the page or anybody else goes back to this board, you'll see this board is associated with the milestone. And again, I could add lists and they would appear here and so on and so forth. So what I'm going to do first, actually, I'm going to go ahead and add those lists. And I'm going to add a list here. And I'm going to choose some of these labels I created previously. So it's going to be not started, in development, in quality, and finished. Something really easy like that. And then you'll notice there's no issues yet in this board. And the reason is that all the issues I had previously in this project, they weren't scoped to this particular milestone. So it makes sense, right? So in this case, I don't really care about the backlog list or the done or the closed list. So I'm gonna close them like so, and I'm gonna only focus on these lists. And so the way the use case here is that I'm starting a new milestone, but I haven't decided which issues to add to this milestone yet. Maybe I'm in the planning phase. Maybe I'm the product manager and I'm talking with the engineering lead. Maybe I'm an operations lead and I'm telling the product manager I really need a particular feature. So the assumption is that all the issues already are here, but as maybe the product person or product owner, I haven't decided what to put in this release yet or this milestone. So what I can do from this screen, I'm going to click the Add Issues button, and you'll see all the issues are already here. So that's really helpful. And I can add them to this milestone. So the way I'm going to do that is I'm going to decide, what issues do I want in this initial release? So I probably want some way to log in. So I'm going to use login with username and password. Maybe I want the password reset flow. That's fine. I probably don't need login with Touch ID or login with two-factor yet. So I'm going to leave those out of this milestone. I want the users to be able to pay, in the initial launch. That's really important. But they can only do it with one credit card. They can't do it with multiple credit cards, and Bitcoin's really too fancy. Obviously, they need to be able to schedule a mowing. So let's do a schedule regular mowing, just every week. But schedule a one-time mowing might be a advanced feature that we don't want to do in our initial release yet. So I've clicked on all these or selected all 4 of these issues or features I want in my initial launch, and GitLab says I can add these to my not started list right away. And so I'm going to go ahead and click that. And right away, you see that they appear on this list now. So if I go ahead and click on the issue, you see in the sidebar that it's been added, the not started label. And if you actually click into the issue, you'll notice that it has the correct milestone. It's an initial launch release milestone. So again, imagine I'm another user and I come to this page brand new. So I'm visiting it, so I say refresh and it's here, and I could do the exact same thing. I could drag over and move the issues one by one through as I'm working on them. Can click on them, see the sidebar. But this second use case is really showing the power of the milestone association with the issue board and being able to add issues, any issue from the project just by clicking this Add Issues menu. You can imagine if your project has a lot more issues, this would be very helpful. You can even do searches here as well. And then you can see what you've already selected and so on and so forth. So that wraps it up for today. In the future, we're going to add a lot more awesome features into GitLab issue boards. I'm really excited about that. So I'm going to stop here for now. I'm going to stop sharing, and I'm going to stop the video, and I'll see you next time.